Okay, so welcome everyone. I'm so excited that you're here. And I kind of on this piece of like if you're an equine entrepreneur that believes in the magic of the horse-human connection, and it's the but that we work with in horse work, right? But you're struggling to figure out how you're going to turn that passion into profit, pardon me. I really think that this is the key piece for so many of you. So you're in the right place. I'm going to keep this under an hour and let's get going. So crushing imposter syndrome. So I kind of think it's funny right off the bat that I put these two little ponies on the front, and they were actually just in the slide as the initial slide. But if anything, and a lot of you have ponies probably agree with this, these two are doing the exact opposite. They believe that they're so much bigger, and it's not about being something they're not. It's like they truly, honestly believe that. So I'm sure some of you have horses or ponies just like that. So Juanita's saying she just did the trauma. Yeah, right on, right on. So how do you crush imposter syndrome, and why is it important that we do? And how do we then turn obstacles into opportunities? And so here's the big thing for me on crushing imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, and we're going to talk about what exactly it is, fear, et cetera, et cetera. It creates confidence holes in us. And the problem in horse work, in confidence holes, is that we start off, everybody comes up, you start off, you're excited to do this business, right? You're excited about the lives you can change because you know that you can change. You've felt that from a horse before, and you're going, okay, I want to share this with the world. But then somewhere along the way, this piece of imposter syndrome starts to sneak in for you. The next thing that happens is you blow holes in your confidence. And from a place of low confidence, facilitation holes, et cetera, we start to parade horses and we start to kind of expect them to do things. And we tighten up our grip on our lives, our horses, our business. And we end up in this place of puppeteering horses, parading horses around obstacle courses with expected outcomes, and wonder why we're not getting the transformation and the results in our business and our life. So let's hear it in the chat. Who wants to find out once and for all, like, how do we just get rid of this piece of imposter? How do we get it out of our lives so we can start to build? So let's get that chat going. If this is your first time here, I'm going to ask you to be in the chat a lot. So let's get that happening and let's get going. So what the heck? Yeah, Brenda, totally. What the heck is imposter syndrome? We hear about it. It's like a catchword, but what is it, right? So it refers to people who are often high achievers. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm speaking to you. You are the high achievers. How do I know that? You showed up live on a Thursday before Friday of Easter. You're a high achiever, and I know you could be somewhere else. Look at Vicky. She's in her car. She's multitasking this, but she's making it happen. Right? So high achievers who doubt their accomplishments and fear being discovered as a fraud. Does that hit for any of you? This fear, that word fraud, like just to see it written, right? That fear of being discovered as a fraud, like who am I to facilitate transformation and change in humans? Who am I to work with horses when my background is daycare? Who am I, and again, insert your who am I? But does this speak to any of you of like, because that word of fraud makes me turn inside, like, oh, just seeing that's really what it is. And Donna's saying, yeah, she totally has fear. And again, I appreciate, kind of the honesty and vulnerability, because that's the work that we do. So here's the thing. As long as you're not actually impostering, it's a sign that you're growing. It's a sign that you're stretching out of your comfort zone in that place of who you truly are, and you're leveling up. Okay. But, and again, in the horse work, we work with the but. Sometimes you're not just feeling like an imposter, you're actually being one. And so I'd love to know, if you're brave and bold enough in the chat, how many of you in any of your area of your life are you, and again, you don't need to tell us the area, are willing to admit that you're feeling imposter because you are impostering, okay? You're being one when you're not working in your zone of genius, your gifts, your strengths, the piece of you that you're here to bring forward to the world. So anybody willing to admit that? And again, it doesn't have to be in horse work. It could be. Yeah, Kimberly, love the vulnerability. Yeah, because there's a really big difference between a sign that you're growing, stretching, leveling up, it hurts, and I am totally out of my lane. I'm totally impostering, and I shouldn't be here. Okay. And so Vicky, I'm working on that hard. Yeah. And I think some of it too is, what But when is the time to kind of get off the pot and realize, like, I'm impostering. I shouldn't be in this zone, and I need to move to the zone where I am growing, where I am stretching, where I am leveling up, where maybe there is that fear of piece of imposter, but I'm not actually impostering. Okay. So I've got things all over my screen. I can't see. So the first question to really ask yourself when you're looking at, am I impostering? Are you working in a lane that's not yours? Okay. So what do I mean by a lane that's not yours? If your entire background in the world and your comfort zone is working in kids under 10 in daycare, preschool, after school care, and that's your comfort. You really have spent, you're one of those people who says, like, I have no social skills outside of children because I've spent my entire life with children. But someone comes along and says, hey, we have this group, they're RCMP, they are high trauma, and we need somewhere that can truly provide transformation results. And you say yes. Do you see where there's an incongruence? You're jumping into a lane. You're like the Frogger that jumps across lanes and you're about to get smoked. Okay. And again, that's just an example, right? Maybe you're the ones, and Andy, I don't think she's on today, but she was an ex-RCMP. That's her lane. That's her zone of genius. That's where she can walk out into the pasture, feel fully congruent, work in the present, and be able to work with enforcement at a very high level, often of PTSD, right? And so number one, I'd like to know, yeah, Juanita's saying kids in my space. Great. What are you doing working with adults then? Okay. And again, I'm not saying to you saying, again, check yourself. Okay. I feel like I'm an imposter because I'm pretending to be confident when I'm not. Don't worry, Laura. You and I are going to nail that down and seal those confidence holes. So, number one. Okay. Number two, this one's a big one. Are you trying to do this work the way all the gurus tell you to do it? Okay. Anyone doing that? Right? See somebody else, you're watching, I don't know, Buck online and saying, I got to be like Buck, or, whatever that is. Okay. And it could be the barn down the road that's doing something. It could be someone in the round pen. It could be, on videos you're watching, and it could be made up fully in your mind. Okay. So again, are you impostering by doing this work the way everybody else is doing it? Okay. Love to know. Is that one nailing you? And this one's huge. When we get into imposter and we're seriously impostering, we're not just having the feelings of imposter, but we're actually impostering, we blow holes in our confidence. And when we blow holes in our confidence, you know who hurts the first? It's your herd. Why? Because you go out to the pasture and you've got that group of kids and you've never worked with kids in your life and you have no desire and you're fearful of it. And again, replace kids with whatever it is for you. You know what we do first? We start to control. There's an old adage about what's it called? A chipmunk. And they put their hand in a tree, and as long as they're only taking one nut at a time, they can get all the nuts they need. As soon as they grab the whole thing, because they get in control, their hand gets locked. This is the exact same thing that happens. We begin to puppeteer our horses with expected outcomes. All of a sudden, we're looking through every exercise in the world and we're writing down step by step by step. We're asking the questions that it says to ask word by word by word, because we're fully impostering. We're not in a place where we can know what to do next, where we can feel that presence, where we have awareness and allowing the herd to step up. And your horses are losing because of it. This is a super serious place, There's nothing a horse hates more than being paraded around an obstacle course with an expected outcome by somebody truly led imposter fear. Let's get over to the chat for a sec. Awesome. I love the vulnerability, Lynn. I was doing that, but now I'm trying to embrace my horses and my strengths. Oh, I love it. We're going to get to that, Lynn, and be able to help you out here with that. Vicky, I feel like I really used to try and be the same as everyone when I started my riding lesson business. Now I'm repeating the process with equine facilitated counseling. Oh, geez, now it's off my screen, but it was a good one. Sorry, give me one sec. Yeah, and finding my zone in that. Okay, cool. So if you've done it before, you need to find that place, right? I guarantee when you zoom in far enough, you're the best in the world at something. You got to find that. So I feel like an imposter when I've had conflict in a personal situation. It's at odds with who and what I love to do, and I can't help the people in my personal situations. Tiring, hard, and draining. Thankful for the support of horses and hubby. Yeah, absolutely, MJ. I think that's so important for us all to remember. We're not the guru. At the end of the day, the horses are the guru. We just simply get to be along for the ride and facilitate at the highest possible level. So we don't ever want to forget why we're in horse work. So as we move along, there's two faces of imposter syndrome, and I think this is really important. So the first phase of imposter syndrome comes from a place of fear. And so the fearful one, you are in alignment. So again, with this theme, you are in alignment, but you're scared to be seen. You're scared to show up. You're scared to actually bring that gift that you know is inside of you, because maybe you've never fully brought it forward. Maybe the horses are reflecting it to you. But the whole thing about this piece, I call this place the edge of glory. I love the edge of glory. Why? Because it's the edge of glory, because there's something bigger for you if you're willing to take that bold step and know that in that bold step, people are going to see the real you, that piece of you, the best piece of you that they truly need to be able to move forward. And so I always say this piece here. And so we've got a lot of, I think that's me working on the fear piece. Awesome. I'm going to give you a tip. Fear, true fear, sits in the past and it sits in the future. What's the first gift of the horse? Presence. Find the place of presence and you're not going to be able to sit in that deep kind of throated fear. Okay. And so you're scared to be seen. But the reality is that being seen is deep rooted in who you truly are. And so that edge of glory is that piece, that key. It's going to take you from where you are to where you want to go. Turn from passion to profit in your horse facilitated business. All right. Good to see that we're hitting for a few of you on the chat. Okay. And the other face, this one's gross. This is the misaligned one. So we have the fearful one, which is okay. That's your monkey mind telling you you're not good enough. That's when you tell them to beat it because you're on fire. You're ready to go. This is for you. You know it is. You know it's you. It's just a scary place because it's pushing your comfort zone. Great. Talked to a guy yesterday who's doing my facilitation program, and that's where he is. His wife, he's a young guy. His wife passed away this year, and all he's done is push himself out of this comfort zone. So he's constantly in that fear to be seen because he's all of a sudden needing to rebuild as a new person, but he's right on that line of glory. It's fabulous. But the misaligned one, you're playing somebody else's game. None of this lights you up. It's kind of this piece, and I did this at the beginning of my horse journey. Because horses can work, honestly, horses can do it all because we just work with congruence. They can simply reflect it all. And so, it was, can you work with kids? Sure, why not? Can you work with adults? Sure, why not? How about a journaling group? Sure, why not? Right? The reality is you're playing someone else's game. It doesn't serve you and it doesn't light you up, and you are fully imposter. Guess what? Someone's going to call you out as fraud. I guarantee it. And so if you're sitting here in a fear of somebody, true fear of someone calling you out as fraud, I guarantee you're misaligned and I guarantee you actually are frauding. That probably hurts, eh? Because that's where the real impostering shows up. Okay, Kim, I love, Kimberly, that you're willing to say, I might be misaligned. I'm going to give you a little hint. When we type things out and we don't change them, we just put the first thing that comes out of our mind, that's coming from a subconscious. So Kimberly, when you're saying I might be misaligned, I guaranteed you are, okay? I appreciate your vulnerability, your braveness and boldness. Take a look at that and decide, where are you misaligned? Where are you actually impostoring? Because until you get rid of that, it's going to hold you back in your business, and it's going to hold you back with your horses, and it's going to hold you back in your life. So I love that, Kimberly. I'm in the midst of a nasty divorce. I've owned and operated a 38-stall barn, and horses have always been my life. Haven't had enough faith in myself to use my master's degree and put myself out there. Not that I'm getting a fresh start. I want to utilize my education, horses, and skills, but no idea how to move forward. Awesome, Cynthia. Let's chat afterwards, but we're going to get to some answers to that. Again, fortune favors the braves of old, the ones that show up because you're doing it live. You wouldn't have typed that out. You wouldn't have written that out if you were on your own. So Lynn, join the Unbridled program. Yeah, we are running Wildly Unbridled starting in the next couple of weeks, and it goes over all things horses, business mindset, building a unique business to you. So why horse? Do you ever feel like as a horse facilitator, you feel it more? So I'm going to tell you, I have been coaching in business. I've been in business for over 20 years. I know, hard to tell when I'm about 27, but I will tell you, of entrepreneurs that I've coached with, equine entrepreneurs definitely feel imposter the most. And so it's not just you. If you're feeling like, oh, everywhere I turn, I just have fear and imposter and everything's coming at me, there's a really good reason why equine entrepreneurs and horse facilitators feel it the most. And this, I would say, is the top reason. This is serious work. We walk people into the unknown. I always say it's not about what happened to them, it's about how it made them feel. And the reality is that whole piece is so unknown for people, and it's so unknown for us. And the piece for us to facilitate at the highest possible level, we have to become the people who can facilitate at the highest possible level. We have to be comfortable with following the breadcrumbs in the pasture, going into unknown moments and understanding this work was never about us. It is fully 100% about the person and the horse. And we've all seen it. It's about the piece that truly needs to be mended, brought forward, burned down, healed, whatever that piece is. And only the horse actually truly deeply can find the incongruence to bring that forward. And so we can feel so much imposter because we're seriously walking with people's lives into the unknown. And I appreciate that each of you take it serious enough to find that. And so cookie cutter in this work doesn't work. And so we, many of you went through a facilitation program and came out and told you you're going to do this and this and this and this. And you've all realized that that's not reality, right? Cookie cutter in a horse facilitated business will never work. Why? Because horses work based on congruence. And when you show up, and again, understanding it's like it's all about you, it's not about you. It's all about how present you can be and unwaveringly mirroring that to your client. And so working in a cookie cutter state, doubt creeps in because we feel like, I just wish I knew what ABC was. Does that resonate for any of you? Again, let's keep that chat going so I know that I'm not just rambling and we're staying on track here. And so we sell transformation as horse facilitators, which we rely on our herd to provide that transformation, but it is up to each of us to set everyone up for success. And so we run with a lot on our shoulders, right? Your genius is felt, but it's not always taught. So when we live in a world where we're used to being taught, it can be pretty hard to say, okay, how do I know what's my genius strategy? How do I grow and how do I bring this forward to the world? So that's both powerful and confronting. Would love to know for you, is that powerful or is that confronting? Yeah, Vicky. I definitely don't believe in cookie cutter, and I guarantee it doesn't work in horse facilitated business. So we love having you here. So Kimberly, you're finding that powerful. Awesome. And again, it can be both powerful and confronting, right? So we need to talk about what your zone of genius is. And you've heard me and you're going, oh God, Tamara, she's going on about it again. Why am I going on about it again? When you zoom in far enough, you're the best in the world at something, and showing up in your horse facilitated development business with clients at anything less than your max value, your biggest gift, strengths, watching shadow side, you're ripping the world off. And that's why you're not bringing people into your business. That's why you feel stuck. That's why your calendar is empty. And that's why you feel imposter. So what is the zone of incompetence? It's the lowest possible zone that you could be in. And here's the thing, in incompetence, and you're all equine entrepreneurs, I know you have a high level of competence. Let's talk about it. Most of the world is better at these things. So imposter rears its ugly head when you are doing things in incompetence, okay? So most of the world is better at these things than you. These things bring you no joy. So start thinking about these things. I want to know, where are you acting in the zone of incompetence? And it's bringing you to a place imposter. Feedback's negative. You're working, you're efforting, you're doing everything. You feel like, oh my God, someone like praise me because I'm working my ass off to do this thing. Honestly, the feedback you get is usually negative. I get this a lot. It's funny. I had this yesterday. because I was doing billing for my husband's business, which is so my zone of incompetent. But I said, I'll sit down and get this done. And then somebody was like beating me up all night about it, not my husband, but like somebody that I'd invoiced out and was picking apart how I was doing it. Because the reality is, world's way better at that than I am. So why was I doing it, right? I felt super insignificant in that place. And if you stay in incompetence too long, not only is imposter rearing its ugly head everywhere you look, again, here's me yesterday going, like, I can't even do this, like beating myself up over not being able to do it. Why am I beating myself up over the fact that I impostered to pretend that I was the accountant? Like, that's just ridiculous, right? To give you an idea. So love to know in the chat, and I'm going to move along here. Where in your horse facilitated business are you sitting in imposter because you actually shouldn't be sitting there at all, because it's your lowest possible level and you're doing it because you think you have to. Maybe the guru had to do it, told you. What is that for you? So marketing, okay, not your thing. Get nervous speaking in large groups, great and small. Perfect. Incompetence speaking in large groups, Juanita, knock it off the list. Don't do it. Trying to do what everybody else tells you need to do to be successful is absolute insanity. It will never, I'm going to guarantee you right now, you're wasting your time. It will never take you to the highest possible level in horse facilitated. Agreed. I love this. Again, the words you use are super powerful. Lynn agreed to do a women's get together and it's been so negative. Okay. Agreed. That sounds like something that was in incompetence that you didn't want to do, Lynn. Love it. Get yours down, get it out of you. Okay. So at low level, if you sit here too long, the big B, burnout, is howling at your door. It's right there. Okay. So I really want you to take a look at, like, what do you need to get rid of? Because every time you step up the ladder, you step closer to your genius and further away from imposter. Okay. Zone of competence. So this is where equine entrepreneurs like shine, because they're like, I can do it all. Okay. Again, bad place to be. Imposter is going to run high. So here's the thing again, there are things that you can do. So that you're not incompetent, you can do them. Okay. But here's the reality. There's way more people in the world that are way better at these things than you. Okay. Back to the idea last time of marketing. Okay, Juanita, you got to find somebody else to do that. You got to figure out a way to do that. Maybe you trade them based on what you're really good at things that you're the best in the world at that they maybe aren't. Whatever that's going to be. Okay. And so the only joy when you're working in competence, the only joy you're actually getting is getting the job done. It's just like, whoo, I can knock that off my list, washing the windows. The only joy I get, and actually I kind of like it, but I'll go with that example, is that they're done. Okay. And then the feedback, they come out to look at the window. Oh, my husband should notice that all the windows look clean. And you know what they say? Nothing, right? If that's your competence. So that's a really good indicator. If you're getting negative feedback, you're in incompetence. Stop working there. If you're getting neutral or just no feedback, it's still way too low of a level for you. Okay. And the biggest piece for me is, am I feeling significant? Okay. Might be a tiny little thing, but am I feeling significant? Okay. Because if I am, it's up. If I'm not, it's down. We all joined this business, this career, work with horses because a horse changed our life. The key word is impact. Okay. Are you creating impact, incompetence, and incompetence? Not a chance. Okay. Glynis must have said something because Lynn's agreeing. So give me a moment. Not started yet. Often catch myself thinking, I'm not ready. I'm not qualified. Oh, stay till the end, Glennis. We're going to talk about that. Okay. So if you think of something in excellent, let's talk about excellence. And I want everybody to think about what is your thing that you're in excellence and get it in the chat, because this one is so, so important. So the zone of excellence, I call the zone of success. You'll hear me talk about the zone of success. Okay. The problem is success is super, super risky. Everyone thinks you're the cat's ass. Okay. I did a program. You guys have all heard me tell this story. It was 11 children learning to take skills on the ranch and convert them into their life. I did it because it was Jessica's program, and I thought I should do that so I can say that I've done the program because she sells it, right? It was the worst 6 weeks of my life. And when we got to the end, and I'll tell you, honestly, it was $100 per session per kid. It was an $1,100. It It was 2 hours because it was split up. But you think, well, that should be enough. That's why success and the zone of excellence is risky, because every Thursday the whole day I would be in a foul mood. I knew 3 o'clock when kids were out of school, they were all coming. And I don't enjoy it. It is not my zone of genius. And so, you know what happened at the end of the 6 weeks? All of the parents said, this was amazing. When are we doing level 2? Okay. So this is that place where you've got to be very, very careful, because everyone is praising you. It looks like things are going, but something's missing. But I wake up every Thursday foul because I had to go do it. Okay. But when the parents said, we loved it, they're throwing money at me, we'd love to do level 2, I just want to turn around and cry or hide. Okay. Very important. So I'd love to know, and this is where it's very, very sneaky. Where are you currently working in your horse facilitated business, in the zone of excellence, the zone of success? And if you just ignore the inner calling in yourself for a little bit, you can make yourself believe that this is where your top level is. Where's happening in your business? So for me, the most obvious, blatant one, I can't work with people I don't work with children unless they're high trauma. And because of exactly the story I was just telling you. And number 2, we have to be working on something. For me, we're looking for big, tangible. And without that, there's something missing in me. It's simply a zone of excellence. So here's the piece that is so risky about this. You're staring down the barrel of burnout, but this time way more is at stake, because it's a slow burn. It's like that tiny little fire that's happening under the ground, but there's moss and there's dry and there's sticks, and nobody knows it's there until it burns out into a full-blown burnout. And that can take years to come back from, if you ever do. So I can't tell you how important this is. It's so easy in incompetence because, again, I had someone tell me fall last night. It's very easy for me to say, I'll never do that again, right? But here we go. Yeah, Juanita, I don't want to be the one who's just playing with horses. Love it. Okay. So I really encourage you to look at this work afterwards. So zone of genius. So why are we even talking about zone of genius? I thought we were talking about imposter. Because here's the thing. Imposter rages in zone of incompetence, competence, and excellence. You will never find imposter residing in your genius. Okay. So there's a level beyond success, and it's called significance. I know you're here for significance, and I know you're here for impact. Otherwise, you wouldn't be working with horses. There's a horse that changed your life, and that's why you're here. And so here's the thing. In genius, you show up in presence. So I'll tell you a little secret. I went to find some slides this morning I thought I had pre-done, and I didn't have them. I thought, oh, I can whip back to some slides I have from last year. And so I had like an hour today to be able to do that. Probably not even between clients, but this is zone of genius. Showing up, talking about things that I know about, that I believe in, that I'm zoomed into. From a presence place, I can show up every single time, and so can you. And so in your zone of genius, this is where your true gifts lie, your true strengths, that true part of you that when you bring forward in your business, people start to sit up, people start to listen. It doesn't look like mine. It looks like yours. You can spend all of your time here and fully get lost here. Days go by, and literally you can pick up the phone, have a conversation with someone, be in the pasture, whatever that looks like. And it's like you're scripted. It's like you're cooking with gas, because you are. And so when you find that place of your highest possible level, it's not about finding it and dipping down and finding it and dipping down. It's about building your horse business, working with your horses, your clients, your life, your relationships. In this zone, you start to move level beyond excellence, beyond success, where your life becomes significant. And that's where you reside. And so burnout doesn't reside in genius. Okay. Burnout doesn't. Same as imposter. Imposter doesn't reside in genius. I'm not saying I don't have edge glory moments where I go, oh gosh, I'm doing this. This is the next level, new devil. But it doesn't reside there. Okay. Just like your genius will never reside, you're in incompetence. But imposter rears its ugly head there. Okay. My first feeling was corporates, then kids would be easier. Then I thought it's not really kids. The thought of facilitating adults in corporate, I'm thinking I'd totally fail. Mixed options, too many options. Lean into this. Get present, Glennis, and start moving towards it. So I don't know what your genius is. As I go on, I do want to see each of you. What's your genius? Put it in the chat. Okay. All right. So let's get into some of the obstacles that you need to figure out how to turn into an opportunity. So someone earlier said, I'm not certified, or I don't have enough certifications, or I have a lot of certifications. Anybody ever have this one? Okay. Let's hear it in the chat. This ever come up for you? I need a new certification. Okay. Here's the reality. Certification is not where your power lies. I have been to horse centers. I have talked to a lot of horse people who are certified out the yin yang. Like, honestly, they've got every certification in the book and they've got letters behind their names and they've got all the things and they're shitty at what they're doing. Why? Because they're caught in their head. Okay. I'm not saying they all are. I'm saying I've met them. Okay. They're caught in their head. And in their head, what happens in the head? Fear, past and future. Okay, you got to figure out how you're going to move out of your head and into your heart. So certifications are never where your power will be. I also have met facilitators that say to me, I'm not certified, but, and then they just begin their life. They just work in genius. They just work at their top level and you'd never know because they're phenomenal at what they do. Don't ever let your I don't have this, I'm not certified stand in the way. I thought my zone was women, but teen girls keep showing up and wanting to be here. I need to narrow my focus and just do teen girls. Yeah, Lynn, we're bouncing back into Wildly 2.0 and we're going to nail that for you. All right. So I have a certification. I went and got certified only so I could put it on my wall. I've never even put it up and I don't even tell anybody about it. I've never been asked about it and it's not something I ever use or would use. Okay. So it's not certifications that is your power. It's your story. It's your scars. It's your genius. It's your wisdom. It's your one step ahead in life of where you just were. That's where your power comes from. And that's what people trust. Okay. My one step ahead, I've been in business my whole life. I wouldn't be standing here talking to you about business if I wasn't a step ahead because you couldn't trust me. You have to be able to work from the place of presence. So I really want you to dive into this piece of if it's a certification obstacle, how do you turn that into an opportunity? Okay. I always say, and some of you are going to be counselors and clinicians and social workers, fabulous. I always say, for me, I'm really fortunate I'm not. And the reason is because I don't have this piece in my head. Should I say this? Can I say this? There isn't a boundary there for me. My boundary is that my job is to bring forward the reflection from the horse. So when the horses give nonverbal reflection and I have an awareness, I ask the question, I bring it forward because I'm not worried about any of those pieces. Okay. So understand that it's your scars, your wisdom, your journey, your step ahead that people trust, not your certification. Okay. True level up happens in the deep understanding that we are most qualified when we work and walk in the journey that we've already walked through. When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up nothing to anyone. And I hate to say that so bluntly, but it's only the friends that kick you in the ass that move you forward, right? Yeah, Juanita, she's certified, didn't get her any clients. And again, I'm not knocking certification. If that's where you're so an imposter because you need it, go get it. But understand that will never build your business, okay? MJ, I think we're talking Monday. Let's work about that and talk about how we're going to narrow you down. Because you are in marketing, I'll give you a tip. You either are the noise or you cut through the noise. And if you're trying to market to everyone and anyone, you're working in incompetence and you become part of the noise. And we live in a world where there's more noise than ever. So it's my job to watch the horse and ask the client to identify what that means to them. Totally, Lynn. They're the gurus. We just get to facilitate at the highest possible level. All right, what's our next obstacle? Other people do this better. Anyone have it? I'm going to take a drink and I want to know in the chat. Do any of you feel like, shit, everybody else does this way better than me and it's holding you back and it's holding you in imposter? You're just looking at all the gurus going, that one's good. They're good. They're good. I can't say it that well. I want to know in the chat. Is that any of you? Laura, Appreciate the honesty. Who else? They don't look like me. They don't, somebody said to me once, I think it was Brenda Bannerman, she's on here, and she said, do you always like wear, like, do you have an attire? Do you always wear plaid, or do I need to, or do I need to look the part, or something like that? And my answer was yes, because for me, it's like, that's, I wear Wranglers every day of my life. I wear a plaid shirt most days of my life, and my hair's always bad because I always just had a cowboy hat on, right? But that's me. That's who I am, and that's how I show up present. And so for Brenda, could look like a polo top. It could, like, I didn't even know this word before, but like Jess said, it's like jodhpurs for her in England. Again, everybody has something different. So we got a lot of yeses. Okay, so let's talk about this. Other people do this better. Well, first of all, this is not cookie cutter. There is no set this in horse work, because it's not up to us. It's up to the horses. Okay. Fortunate position in my town, we don't have another equine facility. MJ, I used to, but reading some books. Oh, isn't Mark Rashid the best? And Buck, I learned that they felt like that too. Yeah, you know what? The people that you look up to felt like it too. They just took the time to write a book or go on a live or whatever it is. Okay. So no, they do it their way. Okay. Other people don't do it better. They do it their way. And there is no right way except your way. You got to show up and you got to do it. Yeah, you need to narrow down. Yeah, you need to know your niche. You need to speak to the right people. You need to market all these things, but you have to do that in your own way. Okay. So no one does it your way. And that's magic happens. What is there, like, what's the saying? I don't know. You are uniquely you, something. I don't know, but your genius, that best part of you, and I want to be clear again, your genius is not to be pulled out like, oh, I'm going to save that like my special shirt that I only wear on good occasions. Okay. Your genius, you need to embody that like every day in your life. If anything, I probably exhaust my husband based on like, I only show up in what I'm really good at, because the reality is when I start working on the things that I'm not good at, like last night happened, wreck dinner, I become a bag, like it's all these things. We all are here to bring forth our best gifts. And that's how we create a facility where transformation and results become a byproduct. Okay. So no one is doing it your way. And Mark Rashid and Buck, guess what? They wouldn't be out there teaching us if they held back and did it somebody else's way. Okay. I give the analogy of the lock. You are someone's lock. You are a group of people's lock. They're walking around with a key, but unless you show up, sorry, I did it backwards. You're the key to someone else's lock, right? And they're walking around locked. But if you don't show up, like Mark Rashid didn't show up for a book to open, that person remains locked. Okay. That's like selfish in my world. Okay. So no, other people don't do it better. They do it their own way. Okay. So is this helping you guys? Let's know in the chat. I'd love to hear from everybody. Is this actually helping you? Because I can't see faces the way I've got lots going on my screen. So is this helping you? Can you see how you've been sitting an imposter because of obstacles that actually are opportunities? If you actually just owned, who you are and where you're going, that maybe there's an opportunity out there for you. Yeah, Brenda, awesome. Great reminders. Who else? Okay. Lynn, 100%. Awesome. Yep. Yeah, you got to keep narrowing down. 1 inch wide by mile deep. The path you've walked on that you can truly inspire should be 1 inch wide by mile deep. Try everything to everyone, you become nothing to anyone. Super harsh, I know, but it's true. Okay. Kelly's been independent. I think I have learned I have to do it my own way. Ooh, Kelly, super important when we start talking about genius. Makes total sense. Get stuck in your own head. Yeah, out of your head into your heart. That's where the presence happens. Sitting here reflecting on the many times this week I've had clients tell me how much I've helped them. It's been a great reminder that I'm on the right track. I love this, Vicki, because as equine entrepreneurs, it's so easy to never celebrate our successes, to never truly lean into that piece or say, a lot of times in your genius, that best part of you, these many clients, they say, thank you so much. You've helped me, blah, 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 blah. And then we kind of shrug it off and go, yeah, no problem, no problem. Because what you do, it's what you're good at. We shrug off so many times what we're actually good at, because it's the thing we do. Okay. That thing that's easy for you, that's your genius. Lean into it. Okay. That's what the world is looking for. So when you zoom in far enough, you're the best in the world at something. Bring that. And people go, something, that's like one thing. Yeah. Bring that. That's what the world is looking for. If you're struggling with a calendar that's empty, figuring out how the hell am I going to move this business from passion to profit, out of a hobby that costs you like one to a business that pays you like one, zoom in and zoom in and zoom in. It's easy to get distracted in different directions, but the truth is simple. You bet, Brenda. The rules are fake. The truths are always simple. I'm so glad you said that. And yes, Kelly, it's wonderful to hear the thank yous. So, oh, funny. I didn't think this was coming up. So funny, this came up yesterday, or this morning actually, and it reminded me of this exact piece. So if you look on the left, you can see there's a little video here, and I had put it up to say to everyone, like, think of this little video. It's a coach I'm working with. What do you think of this video? I know that I look a little bit like a bag, but do you think it's good? And I honestly felt like, look at my teeth, look at my face I got going on, and like in the still pic, I'm like picking it apart. Right? I'm going, my hair looks terrible because I did, like, literally I was going to practice and then I thought it was okay. And so I was really feeling like I had said I would put it up. And then this guy commented, this lovely man who I don't even know. And he said, in the whole group where there's lots of offers, I think this is the best offer I've ever seen here. You know what the difference was in that for me? Is that I went out and I recorded like 1,000 times and it sounded ridiculous. Okay. Why? Because I wasn't working my genius. I wasn't working from a place of presence. I was trying to figure out, I'll just do a script, which is the most ridiculous thing in the world. Again, sinking back into imposter. Okay. This is something that check all the time. And then I said, F it. And I just spewed for 37 seconds. And this lovely man said, this is the best offer I've ever seen. No one's doing it better than you. When you finally step up to the place of, this is who I am. I can't change for you or anybody else in the world. Great marketing, great focus, a great business should attract the right ones and repel the wrong ones. Does that scare any of you guys? Because you're going to get so far into your genius that that's exactly what happens. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get you zoomed all in there, Juanita. Okay. So what if I fail? Any of you have this? Yeah, it is scary. Hey, Vicky, you get to that place where it's like, you know, am I in this place? Am I in a position of being able to repel the wrong ones? You're never in a position not to repel the wrong ones, because one wrong client that you bend over backwards to serve, even though you're not serving them, that's like you making that up in your mind, can ruin the space of you stepping back to who you truly are to help all of those other people. Okay. There is so many people in this world looking for what you have to offer, but you have to step up in your own unique way. Kelly, it makes me hopeful. That's awesome. Yeah. Be perfect or don't be. Yeah. Interesting. Hey. So how do you rework that, Cynthia? I would go with progress over perfection, right? Because I don't know, it pisses a lot of people off, but there's people out there that are not amazing. They're not even really, you know, like they're just working. They're just moving forward. And you might be sitting there going like, I could get way better results, or I read horses better, or whatever. Those other people, they're out there doing it. Progress over perfection, and they're building a business. Okay. So what if I fail? You will. I guarantee it, right? So many people are going to tell you, like, you know what, it won't hurt that much. You're going to fail. You're going to trip. You're going to stumble. Sometimes you're like going to skid rash your face, and it's not going to be great. And sometimes you're going to trip, but as long as you get yourself back up, you're going to make it. And so the whole thing is, again, don't allow yourself to fall and skid rash your face in incompetence. If you fall in genius, again, edge of glory, you're right there. You can pick yourself back up because you know how to do it. You know what the next step is, because genius is a present place. Okay. And so you're going to fail, you know, and it sounds super cliche, but the people that are failing are the ones that are building and growing. That's the truth. If you haven't failed, you are never going to grow. Vicky, I failed 3 times before I built my first successful business. Yeah. So imagine if you quit on the first fail, right? It's crazy talk. And I know this sounds super, you know, typical, but you got to find a way to love that feeling. You got to find a way to just, like, I always think in my mind, it's about the efforts in the world. It's about the inputs, okay? No, not efforts, inputs. And so as I input into the world, it is going to pop out somewhere. Okay. So, whatever it was, I used to, do recruiting in real estate. And so recruiting for me, when I got to the place of, I'm just going to call realtors. I have no idea which ones are going to join, but I'm just going to call realtors. And you know what would happen more often than not? They would say no. And I would feel like I am failing. Right. But once I realized that it's your job to put the inputs into the world, the outputs pop out somewhere else. And so sometimes I would call a realtor and they're like, no, not for me, but I'll keep it in mind. And you think, yeah, right. And then a couple weeks later, you'd get a call from a different realtor who says, you know what, I was talking to this person and they're not into working with you, but I am. They told me this, this, and this. And so could I ever have connected those dots? Not a chance. But if you learn to love the feeling of putting the inputs into the world, they'll always come out. Okay. So you got to understand you're going to fail. I guarantee it. The more you fail, the more you're going to grow. Only the brave collect the bruises on the way to becoming a top level facilitator that the world is looking for. So I want to know in the chat, is this bigger for you? Is this about having a few people out to your facility and making a little bit of money? Or is it about becoming a top level facilitator and changing lives in the world? I'd love to know for you. I understand it's not for everyone, but I'd love to know for you, like, what is that vision? Because you're going to have to be brave and bold in life, in business. I mean, if you want a better spouse, not a better spouse, a new spouse, you have to step up to it. If you've been treated bad in the past and you want to be treated better, you're going to have to be brave and collect some bruises. You want to lose, whatever it's going to be. And so I'm seeing some top level, and it is about being bold, Kim. The thing about being a top level facilitator, you got to become the person who's willing to be a top level facilitator. So if you look at those bruises as kind of brave battle scars and understand, you'll make it through. So you don't fail in your comfort zone. I think this is really important. You don't fail in your comfort zone, but you don't impact lives there either. And so when we're talking top level, and that level beyond success, because there is so much success in significance. Yes, there's financial success. Yes, you can take care of your herd better. Yes, there is a huge relief in knowing your calendar is full with the right people. So many equine entrepreneurs aren't even in the pasture anymore because they're so worried in their office or on social media about how the hell they're going to fill their pasture. But there's no significance in success. Okay. And so I know we're all in this for that level beyond success, where there's a ton of success, but there's a ton of impact. Well, I better go back. I can see there's some good chats I can't see here. Going too far back. So not very good with the chat part. When you hear there's been another death in the community, you want to help those in grief. Yeah, if it's on your journey, right? And it's on that path and it's that one step ahead. And imagine we can actually do that. I dream of changing a lot of lives with the magic of the ponies. Yeah. So stepping from that dream to reality, right? This is my next earning phase before I get too old. My goal is to be top level and build a legacy. I love it, Glynis. And you know what? People are looking for what you have to offer, but you got to be willing to show up. All right. So can we all just get over the fact that you're going to fail? Let's do one last piece here. So opportunity shift from inner critic to inner compass. So imposter truly is about our inner critic, about that piece inside that says you can't do it and you're not good enough and I should be doing it like, whoever, and all of these pieces. So we work with the 4 pillars of aligned success. Many of you have heard us talk about that. I work my whole life based on the 4 pillars of aligned success. And so step number 1 in shifting from that place of inner critic to inner compass. And what's your compass? It's your genius. It's the piece inside of you have to bring forward. Okay. The first gift of the herd is presence. Okay. And so right now, if you're sitting in critic, if you're sitting in fear, Get present. Get present to that place that when that piece of critic comes up, you simply allow it to flow through. Get so present, I always say, that you notice your horse's eyelashes. Okay? So get out to your herd and get present. Because when you can get to a truly present place, you've already started that shift from inner critic. Because inner critic sits in the past and the future, and it sits in fear. Okay? When you get to that place of true presence, not a little bit of presence, true presence. And when I'm really struggling with it, I sit with the horses, I sit dead still, and all I notice is one sense. So I like hearing because I like to be able to hear what's going on around me, and that's all I focus. Because if you sit there in your conscious mind focusing just in what you hear, that inner critic will start to flow backwards. And so awareness comes up as you're in the most present place of your life. You'll start to get an awareness about that inner critic, if that's what your umbrella is, but you'll find awareness on a choice you're willing to name. It gives you choices. It gives you awarenesses based on that critic that you never would have seen there before. Okay? The beauty of presence is the beauty of heightened awareness. And here's a tip. It's great for facilitating too. From awareness, if you can find that place of true presence, you stop fighting. You automatically stop fighting the discomfort. Imposter can't sit there because it doesn't show up. What shows up is your genius strategy. And so finding that place of starting with inner critics, find your presence. Your presence will lead you to awareness. And from an awareness place, if you can allow yourself to be, and if you're facilitating, allowing your horses to show up, but allowing yourself to be will bring forward the answer of your genius strategy, your inner compass, that piece inside of you that's bigger than you. And from there, it just simply comes down to trust. Trust yourself, trust your horse, trusting in your genius. And so this is an exercise I would go out to your pasture and do. But the key to this is finding true presence, because from true presence, immediately that inner critic is going to start to slough off. Okay? That's where the awareness of the next step, the awareness of who you are, the awareness of the struggle becomes real, that you can name it and claim it, let it go. Okay? Stop fighting it, allow. From a place of allow, your genius shows up, and trust the next step. So your genius knows the way. And again, you're going, okay, I thought we were talking about imposter. Imposter is so far gone now in the background, if you're bold enough and brave enough to follow. Okay. So we're almost at the end, but your time tells your truth that your mouth won't. Okay. Your time tells the truth that your mouth won't. So where are you hiding instead of showing up in your horse facilitated business? I'd love to know in the chat. What's the first thing that comes up for you? Where are you hiding? It might be, I don't know how to market, so I'm doing nothing. Okay. It might be that you've got confidence holes that have blown so deep that you're now saying, I don't know how to do the work. I don't know how to work with horses. So you're doing nothing. It might be, I don't know who to talk to. Don't know the right questions. So you're hiding. Okay. I want to know, and real bluntly, where are you hiding instead of just showing up? So Brenda, love the vulnerability, hiding in more education. Right on. It's like the devil, you can't name it and claim it. You're going to keep bullshitting yourself. Again, your time tells the truth that your mouth won't. None of us, without being pushed, will ever admit it. So we hide behind things, and we take up our time in incompetence. Worry is huge. When we talk about things we need to leave behind in incompetence or competence, worry is a big one, So I saw a fear of failure. Paperwork, yeah, Lynn, totally, right? And it's like, if you were actually in your genius, you could just blow through that. But you hide in fear. So you just say, oh, I got paperwork to do. Can't get out in pasture today, right? But it's a different fear. Fear of failure. Vicky, you're going to fail. I'm going to crown you right now, Vicky, that you are going to fail. But if you just keep moving towards it with that piece that's authentic to you, There is an end. There's someone looking for something you have and you'll hit it. I guarantee it. Okay. Not spending enough quality time with the horses myself, hiding behind my other job. Yeah. A lot of times equine entrepreneurs hide behind whatever it is that's bugging them and they don't spend time with their horses. Why? Because of the reason we do this work, because the horses know, because the horses reflect back to us sometimes ugly truth that we're not willing to face ourselves. Ooh, that stings, doesn't it? Vicky turned in her notice at her other job and doubled clientele. I think it says there's a pop-up on screen. Worth it. Yeah, it's like in that moment of doing what you have to do that you fear the most that kicks you in the ass and moves you forward. So cool. I'm at the point, groundwork has been done, and I'm doing sessions to build confidence and test the process. Awesome. Glynis, get out there, do it. Clarify who they are. Do it with the right people. Really, really great. Ranching. Oh yeah, ranching can be that. We're in calving season right now, and I can easily check on them multiple times a day, like easily. So yeah, your time tells the truth, your mouth won't. That's scary, right? Because your feet aren't to the fire. And it's easy to say, I'm just too busy, I can't do it, right? Hiding from the present in general. Laura, I love your vulnerability. I can't wait to get working with you. So here's the thing. The world is looking for horse facilitated development. How do I know that? I started this work in COVID when everybody said it'll never work. And I had people from around the world coming here. Why? Because I stepped up into this work. I know this work works. Such a funny work. But you got to show up. You know, there's so few of us doing this work at that highest level. But the world needs us. You know, we're such a phenomenal alternative to thought therapy. We all know that the results that can happen, and we all know horses change life. It's time for us to show up. So, yeah, I guess that's the end. I'm going to go through really quickly. I got a free live coming next week, but I should back it up a slide. Let's end here with, did this help you in getting really clear on what your imposter looks like, whether you're actually impostering, and how you're going to move yourself forward to step into that business? I would love to know that. And if there's a piece that's missing for you, let me know what it is. But understand that fear sits in the past and future. It doesn't sit in the present. So the biggest key to all this is when you find your present place and you allow that piece inside of you to come forward, you're working at your highest possible level, and that's what moves you forward. So, Lynn, lots of good reminders, pushes forward. Yeah, absolutely. So, last couple slides really quickly. I've brought on Serena. She is absolutely incredible. Vicky, yeah, we all need the reminder, right? This has been great, helped you out. Perfect. Just want to make sure. Yeah. So, couple things. Next week, live Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific. You don't want to miss this. So Serena is coming on. Serena is an archetypes coach. She's a money coach. She is coming on to our next 6-week Wildly Unbridled, but she's coming on to do a free 1 hour, 10 a.m. next week. And it's going to be incredible. So it's about rewiring money beliefs. Okay. So we all have these hidden money beliefs. And so it's about rewiring those so you can step into profit in your horse facilitated development business. So it's a deep dive into those 4 money beliefs. She's a certified money coach. She has a doctorate in some sort of science. She's trained in nonverbal communication. She's phenomenal, but she's a certified money archetypes coach. And she's coming forward. She's going to talk about the 4 most deep-rooted money beliefs holding most equine entrepreneurs back from turning their passion into profit in horse facilitated. So I'm going to get the link out for that. It's about shattering your glass money ceiling. It's about really getting serious about what it is, because without moving your business into profit, I guarantee you're going to burn yourself out. It's just the way that it goes. So she's coming on there. She's also coming into our next live round of Wildly Unbridled. So this is coming up in the next 2 weeks. So if anybody's saying, you know what, I am ready to take myself to that highest possible level, we're deep diving to your genius, into your archetypes, those gifts, strengths, sealing those confidence holes, teaching you how to facilitate in the unknown moments, truly at that level amongst those 4 pillars of success. figuring out how do we get you into that 1 inch wide by a mile deep niche. So you are so clear on that, you can begin to market on that. And so in week 5, we from efforting to inspiration on marketing, and week 6 we put it all together. So it's a deep dive, and this year for the first time ever there is an option of a 3-month mentorship where it's a one-on-one with me, where we deep dive into your business and we really kind of give you those tools needed, pairing with who you are, to be able to take your business will be on success. And so Serena's going to be coming. She's doing a Monday momentum call, all things your archetype, who you are, how you build into profit with us. So this is coming up. I will put the link in the chat. Not ever, it is, you have to do, oh, sorry, I've got the wrong link. Give me a moment. You do have to do a call with to be able to see if you're a good fit for it. So it's for the driven, it's for the inspired, it's for the people who say like, I don't know if I'm ready, but I know that I have a gift to share and I know this work is it. So if that's you, drop it in the chat right now because I don't have the link. I thought I had the link. Just put your name in the chat. That's all I need. Or something, and I'll reach out to you. And we are launching in the next 2 weeks. It's a 6-week or it's a 3-month program. So just depending for you, if you want the one-on-one mentorship. There's a lot of the last people. Yeah, Lynn's coming back. It's been fully revamped. And I got to tell you, I'm super jazzed up for this one. This work changes lives, and I need your help. How do I need your help? I need you guys to step up. I need you guys to share this incredible work around the world. And I'm here to link arms with you and, do what I can do to help you step into those gifts, those strengths, that yes, and really help you fill that calendar so you can move from passion to profitability. So yes, a bunch of you, I'm super excited. Yeah, Juanita's coming back, Brenda's coming back, Lynn's coming back. Yeah, it's going to be really, really good. So just drop your name in there if you want me to reach out to you. And again, I don't have a sign up link because that's not how we roll. To do a one-on-one and just make sure that we can actually fulfill on those promises based on where you're at and where you want to go. So thank you everyone for showing up. I will get the link out for Serena next week. That's a free, it's going to be incredible. And yeah, I can't wait to see, all of you stepping into that highest level and just creating change around the world. So thanks everyone for showing up, and we'll see you next week.